Hey, hey, everybody. So this has been quite the day. I love doing this. I love coming on and having a conversation on Sundays. But sometimes, every now and then, the internet and I, we don't see eye to eye. Hi, my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug, and they call me the business plug because I help small businesses find their way through technology and best business practices confidently. And I do this by hosting classes, by having consultations, and by making reliable connections with business owners to the people that they need. So come on in, come on in, come on in. Thank you for joining me this evening. Yes, I said 7 o'clock. Yes, it has to be 7 o'clock somewhere, right? But it's not 7 o'clock where I am. But in any case, this is not 7 o'clock in the Eastern time. This is actually after 8. I am coming on because yesterday my entire internet system went poof, and not just me, but the entire, well, not the entire city, but partial places sporadically in the city went blank. Like we're supposed to have EPB, which is the Electric Power Board, and that company is supposed to be like the premium fiber network in the whole United States. But yesterday, it went kaput on all of my channels. So I'm still trying to dig myself out. Had to change some passwords, had to do all kind of things. If you ever went through that, and if you have a smart house, if you live in a smart house, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because in smart houses, when the system goes out, and you know how you try to troubleshoot the problem before you call the vendor. So I was trying to troubleshoot the problem, and in doing so, you erase some things, right? So you erase some things, and the things that you're erasing, you have to put back together once they put the system. Anyway, it's been a whole mess. It's been a whole mess. A whole lot. Hey, Louise, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching, go ahead and put it on your share this on your page. But we're going to talk about embracing the pivot. So this is Black History Month, and so I'm entitling these um, "Business While Black," doing business while Black. And the reason I'm doing that is because in Black History Month, I want to make sure that the Black-owned businesses are getting a bit of education, because that's one thing that we lack in our community to the business level, to the business owner level. A lot of the businesses that I talk to on the daily are Black business owners, and basically they just want to sell something. And so while I do understand that, I do understand that that's not enough. Like there are things that you need to know as a Black business owner, just like you need to know as a business owner, period, regardless of your race, of ethnicity. There are things you need to know about business. And so this month, when I don't have a guest, I am going to come on and do doing business while Black, to encourage my Black business owners to learn some business aspects of business. And so that's what we're doing. So today we're talking about the pivot, because if 2020 showed us nothing else, it definitely showed us that we need to understand how to pivot. Like we need to understand how to have a social media presence in addition to our brick and mortar, right? Because if you just have a brick and mortar, right about now, you're trying to still figure it out if you're alive at all. And I was listening to on a study where they said that during COVID, 40% of Black businesses have closed. That's a lot of businesses that have closed. Those were businesses that were started pre COVID and have not been able to get the support and the finances that they're needing. And so they've closed. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about embracing the pivot, because that's something we need to know as business owners. So let's talk about pivoting. So there's 4 different ways of pivoting I want to talk to you about. And if you're watching this, go ahead and share it on your page. Go ahead and say hi. Go ahead and let me know you're out there. But the first one is when you have to pivot and find a new market. So like if you are a brick and mortar, and if everything you did, and if you are a brick and mortar, or if you were used to doing business in your circle, like in your town, in your city. You had a lot of connections within your area. Well, when COVID hit, we're no longer able to meet with the people in our area. So it's imperative that we have create a social media presence. And so that's one way you have to acknowledge and embrace the pivot is if you we have to market now to a new audience. Like we have to go out beyond our cities and our general areas and find customers that are looking for us, looking for our products, looking for our services, but they may be across the country. They may be in another country, So it taught us about that part of the pivot where we have to find a new target market, we have to find new audience. And so learning how to do that. Another thing is if you had all physical products, now may be the time to start embracing digital products, right? Because digital products you can send across the internet and you don't have to worry about whether the post office is working, whether China's closed down for a month. You don't have to worry about those things that normal businesses have to be concerned about because if you have products and services that require somebody else to be your supplier, there have been times that the post office is not really working like it should. And there have been times when China closed down for the month. And so if you were expecting those types of services, the pivot was finding new vendors within the United States who could help you. So it could be that you had to switch from the post office to FedEx or UPS or one of the other vendors. Another thing is understanding online sales, right? So that meant you had to get a third party carrier to accept money so you can exchange money online and learning what that's like. Like if you just been done a brick and mortar, you used to a cash register. Well, now they have electronic cash registers like with Square and with Square and with I was trying to think of the other Stripe, PayPal, those guys. So you had to learn how to accept money a different way, right? The other thing is like working remotely. So if you were like me, because before COVID, I would actually get up and go meet my businesses in coffee houses and sandwich shops. Like I was throughout the city, depending on where you were, I would meet you at a Panera's or a Starbucks or something like that. And with COVID, it has taught me that now I have to teach a lot of my clients how to get online and do a Zoom call. Like signing up for Zoom is that's a whole experience within itself. And most of the people that I deal with are 50 and over, and they may not be familiar with Zoom or StreamYard, which is what I'm using right here. They may not be familiar with these types of things. So there was an education that I've had to do offline just to get my clients to get online. And now a lot of them are like, oh, they having like champs. But when we first started this, it was kind of bumpy for a few people getting online and learning how to do this. So another thing is, and this is the great thing about small businesses, is we can pivot on a dime. Like we can change our mind tomorrow and have a whole new landscape. That is the beauty of being a small business is that you don't have to go through all those chains of command that bigger boxes have to go through in order to get changes implemented. You as a small business owner are able to make a decision and you can just go and do it. Like if tomorrow you want your color scheme to be blue, guess what? Tonight you create blue, tomorrow you introduce it. Voila. That's what it is like. So this is embracing the pivot and learning that there is a pivot that COVID has taught us that we do need to have a pivot. We need to know how to pivot. So in any case, I want to introduce you to the course that I'm teaching. It meets on Saturday mornings from 9 to 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And in this class, we talk about things like how to pivot. We talk about things like how to create an exit strategy. In the end of the class, you actually have a business plan that you can distribute. Like we talk about all the different aspects of business that every small business owner needs to know. So we go through the scenarios. We talk about the finances. We talk about the finding your targeted customer, right? We niche it down. They are encouraged to know who their customers are before they open the doors. Because if 40% of businesses, 40% of black businesses are closing their doors, then that's something that we all should be concerned about. And so I'm coming on to teach you things like embracing the pivot. I'll go back through them again so that you'll understand what we've been talking about. So, the first thing we talked about is you may need a new market. Like if you're used to doing business in your area, now you may have to get another target market. You may have to find a new audience. You may have to build a community. You may have to build an audience. So those things, knowing how to do those things, and you can Google these things to see how to build an audience, how to change a target market. Like those things are in Google University, right? So you can definitely use Google University to find out the how. I'm telling you the what. You can find out the how on your own, or you can contact me and we'll go through it. Services and products. If you are used to making or having uh, brick and mortar and having physical products, now you may want to invest in digital products because we're in a digital era right now. Everything is online. And in online sales, that leads us to how do we get paid? So you have to learn about which of the different third party vendors you have to use to get your money. How what does that look like? And like some have one percentage, another has another percentage. Some you can download tonight, it'll be in your bank tomorrow. Some you have to wait a few days before you get your money. And some, you can get it quicker, but you have to pay a fee. So it's understanding those kind of things about online sales. And the fourth thing is about working remotely. Like if you're used to being in meeting people face to face, then what does that mean to your customer? Do you, like me, have to train them how to meet you on Zoom, or are they able to quickly come online and meet you online as opposed to in person? And then one final thing is you can pivot, like embrace the pivot because it's a part of what we do as business owners. You look at companies like Starbucks, which started out with coffee beans, and then they did a pivot and they became a coffee house. You look, and they may have to go back to coffee beans, right? You may have to make a pivot again, go back to where they started. But it's understanding that those things are necessary and it's all a part of business. So don't feel like it's just you. Don't feel like you're by yourself. If you need to pivot, then get somewhere to get the business education so that you know how to pivot. Get again, Google University works, and if not, contact your small business administration, your small business development center, and you can find them at, and I'll put it in the chat. You can find them at sba.gov, sba.gov. You can find your local small business development center that can help you learn how to pivot your business. I just don't want any more businesses to be closing because they don't know how to embrace the pivot. And so that's what that's about. And so my name is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the business plug, and they call me the business plug because I come on and I teach you things like this to help make your startup life, your entrepreneur life a little easier. Like understanding that you're not by yourself, that you're not experiencing it by yourself, that in the pivot is a great opportunity. Again, look at my case study Starbucks, right? They pivoted from coffee beans to coffee houses, but you can make a pivot too. So don't give up on your business idea, don't give up on your dreams. You can reach out to me, and I will put my email address in the comments so that you can email me if you have additional questions or if you want to learn about the class that I have coming on every Saturday morning until May 1st. So every Saturday morning, I have a class. And actually, if you go on Facebook and you join my group, it's called Building Your Own Six Figure Business. If you go on my Facebook group, you could actually attend one free session of the class. Like I won't charge you for it. It's just so you can try it out, sample it out, see if it's something that's going to work for you. But I am teaching business owners how to create their own wealth, how to stay in the game, how to pivot, how to whether it's the audience or the social media presence or the products or whatever it is that they need to learn in order to stay in the game, in order to keep building their businesses. That's what it's about. So I will see you all next week. I just want to come on for a brief time just to tell you about pivoting. And I'll see you next Sunday, hopefully at 7 o'clock, my regular time, so I can teach you something else. If I don't have a guest, we'll do some more doing business while black to teach you how to do some things that you may or may not do. You may or may not know how to do. Again, my name is Linda Murray Bullitt. They call me the Business Plug, and they call me the Business Plug because I help business owners confidently add technology and best business practices to their business model. You all have a great week and happy Valentine to everyone. Bye bye.